Okay, I'm on camera.
You are on camera.
Okay, what I'm going to try to do is walk you through the development of the training center here in Arusha. And I've tried to figure this out, but I'm not sure I'm correct, so it's been so many years now. But I think we bought this land in 2002, and it was a process of about a year or so that we looked at different land in and around Arusha. And after much looking and praying, and the team really couldn't make up their mind what piece of property that we should purchase, because none of them met all of our requirements. So one day Anil said, well, you know, I think God showed us the piece of land he wants us to have, but we put our requirements on it and not his. And so the ground that we're standing on now, the part that when we went back and looked through all the different properties in with Anil's challenge was this piece of property. It had a road, it had electricity, but it didn't have water. And so as we prayed, we all just felt like this was the place, but no water. So we said, well, if the Lord wants to provide the water, he'll do that somehow. So I went to a lawyer and drew up the paperwork, and the cost was $30,000 for 8 acres. And the lawyer said, you know, this gives you 90 days to come up with $30,000. He said, is that a long enough time? I said, I have no idea, because where I come from, you either secure a loan before you sign that you're going to purchase something, or you have the money in your pocket. And I said, I have absolutely no money. So if God wants us to have that piece of land, he'll provide the $30,000 in 90 days. And in 90 days, I walked in his office and handed him a check for $30,000. So that was confirmation to me and to the team that this was where God wanted us. So we bought the land, and it was just open field like everything else that's surrounding us here, and I'll eventually take you out so you can just see what the countryside looks like out here. So we had land with some trees on it and one building, and it was that one right there. That's all that was here. And they were growing corn on the property, and so we let them continue to farm it while we thought about how we're going to develop it. And so we felt like the first thing we needed to do was build a fence around it to secure the property, not from people but from animals, because animals just graze out here and they'll eat all the trees. There's goats and cows, and so it took us quite some time to build enough cement posts and get the wire and plants growing that we could surround 8 acres of property. And so you can see right back there the results of that, and that's a real thorn fence there that's intertwined with chain link fence and cement posts. So the place was secured. After we got it secured, then the next thing we needed to do was build a bathroom for the people who are going to work out here, so they just wouldn't go wherever they were going. And so we built that long drop toilet right there, and now we've added on to that and put a shower on it. And so that's where they used for a bathroom and where they began showering when we started hiring people then to help us develop the training center. And then Pikes Peak's first involvement came, well, their second involvement. Part of it was purchasing the land. The second part was to build something that we could have water, because there was no water here, and a lot of the construction is all done with cement and cement blocks. It's not like America. And so you helped us build this water trailer over here that has CMF written on it. What we did then is we went to the closest water point and pumped water into it and brought it here so that we could start building things out of cement and block. And the gentleman who was helping us develop this decided where we would put things on the mission center, and so we put in a water capture tank that would be running off of a building that would be built in the future that would hold water. And so we built this underground tank over here. And so what we did was we dug this hole, put in this cement tank here, It's got a lid on the top of it over there where we could bring a big truck in, a semi-truck, and dump like 15,000 liters of water in here so that we could have enough water to sustain us while we were doing construction. And of course you can see just the building right there behind it now. The water comes off the roof and goes into this tank. Oh. So we capture the water off of the roof of the building. So we didn't know if we were going to ever get water here, and so we had to have a way to have it brought in or capture it off the roof. And so that's the first thing that the second thing that Pikes Peak helped us develop here in the center. And then the third thing is that we felt like we needed a Tanzanian presence here to oversee the development, so people knew we had somebody living here. If they needed something, they could come talk to them. And so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to walk down and show you where this house is that Pikes Peak helped us build. So you can keep it running or you can turn it off and show them. And then after we got the water catchment tank so that we had water, the home for the Nationals, the one you see right down here, it's a little 2-bedroom typical Tanzanian home that we built for $6,000. Pikes Peak provided $3,000, and a church in Oregon provided the other $3,000.
Nice.
And so then we had a place for a Tanzanian family to live here and have some kind of presence for the team while it was being developed. Once that was done, then we felt like we could start training out here. And so I'm going to take you for a walk and show you where the first classroom was out here. Okay, and then our first church planter training took place here, and this tin building that's behind me here was the classroom. It didn't have one door, but that was the classroom, and some of you know Peter and Solomon. Everyone's out here, and then we just set up tents for them out here in the grass for them to sleep. And so, in fact, Tino and Marge came out and saw some of the training that was taking place out here in the tin building when they were here with us. So, we did a cycle of training, and then we had a church in Kansas that wanted to help us also, and so they helped us build what we call our student housing building, so they didn't have to sleep in tents. And so I'm going to take you over and show you where that building's at next.